Make sure we good.
All systems go.
All systems go. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, welcome to the greatest wrestling podcast known to mankind. It is not E-Ray, too big to be E-Ray, too broke to be BA, too light to be Dub. It is the Wiseman. Welcome to Let Me Book the Territory. E-Ray and Dub are gone. They are challenging, training for the tag division. BA, how you doing today?
Wiseman, the Wiseman. I'm good, baby. It's VA DVIC, aka Black IRS, aka the B for the East. BA Bigelow at your service. Willie streaming this evening. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I need my soundboard, man. E-Ray, you gotta give it.
Yeah.
I need a soundboard for Christmas.
We lack the soundboard. So that is one thing we will not have today. We won't have the classic inputs from E-Ray, the quasi bad guy. I don't have the equipment set up. Props to him. But we will make up for it in the content. So don't worry about it. So yeah, we've had a weird week in wrestling. Sort of developments. Where do you want to start? I say Raw kind of had the most content to it this week.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, let's go with Raw. First, one of the biggest things that we kind of touched on last week, this weak ass build to the women's war game match.
Man, and I gotta say, I listened to half of the show from last week because I was traveling and shit. So yeah, I didn't catch the hot takes of the War Games match exactly, but it does to y'all. It sounds like y'all had the same thoughts as me. This shit seems, at least the women's, extra rushed. All of a sudden it was like, oh snaps, we got a War Games match to plan too, type of vibe, and blah, just vomited 10 women out there for us to take part in and talk about booking. So yeah, man, I want to say that they've been spending so much time on this bloodline build, or the bloodlines and the builds of who's gonna be with who and stuff. It just took away from the women. Because there were still women on TV doing stuff. It just wasn't anything War Games generated or related. So yeah, man, much is desired there. I feel like
too much to be desired. And then this week with Rhea popping back up, everybody thought she was going to be gone longer. Apparently she had a broken orbital. She had an Undertaker injury. So her coming back in the Rip Hamilton mask, headbutting to start out and just screaming War Games out of nowhere. That was kind of your announcement. That was like the start and the hype of the build. That was kind of it for me. And then Dub off screen, he kind of brought up a good point. Do you think Io and Candice were just kind of thrown out there just to kind of general these matches because they have the most experience in them? Or do you tie them to this story closely? Like, how are you justifying them being in this match?
Shout out to Dub, because that's the only justification I could think of for them being involved in this match, especially Candice LeRae. She just came out of left field. Like she was never in anything Nia Jax was doing on SmackDown, and all of a sudden she's a Nia lackey. Like what? Like I get that she got stuff to do now because Indy's gone, because now they have a reason to put her on TV and something random, but War Games though, like of all the things, but to the point of that she has that experience, I get it, but at the same token, I'm just like, give me some sort of tangible thread there. Give me something to tie this together outside of, well, she's a War Games vet, so it is what it is, man. I'll take it, I guess. Could be no skilled women in there as far as the War Games veterans. So
I'll take it. Speaking of lackeys, still on Raw, Alpha Academy again wrestled this week. The match wasn't all that, I would say, but they ended up taking the L. The biggest thing from the outcome of this match is Chad Gable in domestic abuse against his team.
Loves it.
And it's motivating them.
Yeah. Toxicity.
What is your take on domestic abuse and motivation for your teams? Like,
this is very much the boomer way to do things, if I don't know the way to describe it. This reminds me of when they talk about gentle parenting versus how our parents raised us. This is how our parents raised us type of vibes. Like, completely toxic behavior to try to get your kid to respond in a way that you want them to respond, i.e. Otis not responding the way that he wanted to respond to his abuse, but Julius Creed and responded appropriately with trying to fight his brother and them getting into it. So yeah, whatever it takes, Chad Gable, I guess we'll say.
Now,
so.
What kind of confused me is the Creeds weren't even wrestling. This was Chad Gable and Ivy Nile versus Zelina and Ray.
Right.
And the Creeds still end up getting the fucking assault and being like, oh yeah, y'all are shit. Get your stuff straight. Come on. And then they just start like headbutting each other and shit like just two brutes.
They should have never tried to console Chad. Or Julius shouldn't have tried to console Chad. That's where it went left. They was like, we don't do that soft shit here. And that's where it was just like, all right, yeah, it is what it'll be there as far as him fighting Brutus after that. So yeah, just don't show any compassion to Chad Gable. You'll be fine. You won't get.
Now, is this living up to the Team Angle-esque, approach that we thought this was going to take when it was teasing?
That's a good question. I don't think it is, because Team Angle was so over. As far as just if you can compare those vibes to American Alpha's vibes, they're two different. They're showing how they're two different entities now. Them kind of being more of like they've taken a lot of L's. Let's just call it what it is. Between the Wyatt Six feud and now this one that we got brewing with LWO, they've taken L's and they're not even featured in prominent stuff. They're featured on mid-card things. So I wouldn't call Team Angle mid-card by any means. They had a heavyweight champion and tag team champs in that stable. So
gold.
Yeah, nothing but gold. And I don't see any gold on like Alpha, excuse me. I keep calling them Alpha Academy. They are American made now.
American made.
So
yes.
I don't foresee that type of booking yet. If it's gonna happen, we're not there. We're not close by any means.
So not over in your opinion, yes.
Nah, not over. Not yet.
Well, unfortunately, there's been a certain trend of not getting over here on Raw. Karrion Kross has done more work. I know, related. Karrion Kross has just done more and more work trying to get over the past few months. And now The Miz and this certain approach. I don't know if you watched the promo and the vignette that they had put together.
I did see that. Yeah, I did catch that.
The Miz was cutting a hell of a promo, and it intrigued me. It's hard to say. I'm starting to give a shit about Karrion Kross and what he does on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's getting over with everything, but I think they might have found the recipe for getting themselves over. Am I crazy?
No, not crazy at all. I would have came on last week if I was able to be on the show and said the same thing. Because I started the brew last week with when we thought it was the whole Miz about to get taken over by the Wyatt Six, and then they Miz or Karrion Kross thinking that Miz had something to do with it, and then they didn't, and they came in and whooped ass. But the Wyatt Six had that. Bo Dallas had that laugh, Uncle Howdy. Like, this ain't over by any means or stretch of the imagination. So yeah, this may be what both of these factions needed, because let's be real, the YS6, they've just made a lot of noise. They haven't done anything of real substance yet. So maybe we're finally at a point where both of these factions can be able to build each other up, because the Final Testament have like some sort of creepy element to them. They're not like Judgment Day creepy, old school Judgment Day creepy.
At first, they were going a little supernatural-ish.
They were,
but I think now they've kind of put it into more brute force, just dark gothic than more supernatural.
Gives off biker gang vibes.
Yeah, it's giving off biker gang vibes almost. You know, Sons of Anarchy without any of the motorcycles. For sure.
WWE loves that Sons of Anarchy without the motorcycles booking, boy, because you could argue that about the Judgment Day too.
It works sometimes when you do it right. I mean, I'm not gonna say you're gonna make, sell out arenas and shit like that, but
right.
For TV, it's making something interesting. I never would have thought I would have cared about anything Karrion Kross, period. And that's just me. Not trying to sound like a hater or nothing like that, but Karrion Kross there for a while was just plain. I mean, they had him going at, everybody, Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, all types of people, and no one gave a shit. It was crickets every single time.
I'm more shocked about the chances that he's gotten to be continuously pushed and put in our faces. That's more than what shocks me. It shows me that Triple H is really a big fan of Karrion Kross and wanting to get that dude over, because he should have been fired about 4 different times if we were looking at it on how it's kind of looked at it as others are in the E with what they do with their opportunities. So yeah, I'm just happy to finally see that I'm not upset when he comes on my TV screen. I'm actually intrigued as well. So
you're not upset?
No.
You're getting triggered by Karrion Kross TV time? That's funny as shit.
We talked to my therapist about it. But it's promising to see. It's taken a long time for us to get here to where we can't shit on this guy. I think Big Mommy Back Pose is taking the place of her, of Karrion Kross as far as how we talk about booking on this show. So, hey, Karrion Kross, welcome to the get out of booking hell jail club. So no, it has to feel good.
Props to Karrion Kross. This would be the time where E-Ray would trigger the claps. Props to Karrion Kross.
Yes,
round of applause.
Big facts.
Big facts. So Karrion Kross is getting over naturally. Somebody that's been taking it in, their own hands. Ludwig Kaiser. After last week, trying to talk for Gunther. Kind of acting protective, and Gunther shut that shit up quick. Later on, he told him, he wants him to be his own man, wants him to prove himself, show who you are. So what does he do? He goes out and interrupts what Sheamus would call a certified banger of Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was for the title as well.
It was.
It was a title match. Goes out and interrupts the match by kicking Braun Breaker and then starting shit, saying he's going to take out Sheamus since he should have did it a while ago and it's been a problem. Do we care about Ludwig Kaiser right now in just the retrospect of wrestling? Like, how do you care about his TV time? Is he entertaining to you? If he's not connected to Gunther on the TV screen, what is he doing?
Entertaining, yes. Needed on my TV right now? Absolutely not. So much so, you would forget that Gunther was even a part of Imperium. You would forget that was even a thing like 2 months ago. Or 3 months ago, roughly. He doesn't need him anymore, really. And that's kind of like where we're going at some point. If Gunther wasn't as big of a draw as he is, we would see them kind of go to some sort of beef sooner, I feel like. But I think that's where Sheamus comes into play, to give Ludwig Kaiser something to do while Gunther is kind of, it looks like having his own like me versus me moment, like where he's kind of in his own head and shit right now. So
and that was exactly where I was going to go after this, because I feel like the way he's talking to Ludwig is a reflection of how he's feeling about himself, because immediately after he had that talk, he's just pacing in the back.
Yep.
And then in the weirdest instance, I never thought they would book Gunther like this. He walks up, sees Damian Priest at a table, looks like he's doing autograph signings or something like that, and then goes up and starts choking him. I don't know if you saw, did you see this first?
Yeah, I peeped
okay.
I peeped
Okay, you peeped. Good.
Yeah.
So he goes up, starts choking the ever-loving shit out of him. And in a turn of events, Damian Priest gets him off of him and beats the shit out of him.
Yep.
And then sits over him and tells him, you might be the ring general, but in the streets, you know, the backstage of this, you know, $1 million arena, I'm the king.
King of the streets.
King of the streets, apparently. The backstage is the streets, whatever we're calling it.
I'd argue the streets
I mean,
aren't that nice.
I'd say the NXT parking lot is more akin to the streets than the goddamn backstage of some fucking arena that cost a couple $1 million.
Fact.
So I like the segment. They made Gunther look like a bitch here. I'm not even gonna lie.
Absolutely.
They made him look weak. I get that you book heels to be weak sometimes or get their ass whooped, but to jump someone from behind, and especially someone like Gunther, to jump him from behind and then end up on the floor cowering.
And he had a weapon too. He had a metal pipe.
Yeah, and he had the jump on him, choked him out from behind, and used weapons and got his ass whooped.
Yep.
I don't like how they made him look like a bitch there. That's just me personally.
It didn't
Gunther's
bother
supposed
me.
to be.
It didn't bother me that much.
How does that not bother you?
Because they got to show that whole, like, he kind of lost, like, his glow a little bit. Like, if I'm going to liken it to The Last Dragon, shout out to Bruce Leroy, he ain't catching bullets with his teeth no more, man. If we going to use that analogy, because he lost that match to Cody. It did something to him. It didn't count for anything, but it counted for major things in his head as far as him getting put on his back like that. Pause. So, yeah, I think that it's something that is the whole. It had to happen to show that Damian could at least be taken more serious as his opponent still. I think that's another reason why it had to happen for him to look weak in this moment. So there's two things happening here. You got to have Damian not look like a punk the whole time that they're feuding, because I don't believe Gunther's going to lose that belt to him. So they got to make it believable. And two, Gunther battling with this me versus me stuff in his head from the loss at Crown's Jewel. So it makes a little sense to me. It doesn't bother me that much.
I see the angle you're coming from. I don't know. The way Gunther, I always viewed him, he was like I'm not saying exactly alike, but it was almost like if this same kind of shit happened to like an Obafemi type of nigga or something like that.
Okay.
I don't view him as just doing something like that bitch made and then getting his ass whooped for it. It's just a really quick flip. There was no like progression towards it. I mean, 1 week he's whooping the shit out of people, takes 1 L in a match for a Saudi blood money title that doesn't mean anything, and now all of a sudden he's getting his ass whooped in backstage, jumping people from behind. It seems a little too quick, in my opinion. I'm not down with it, man. I'm not down with it.
Hey, we'll agree to disagree. It's all good.
Exactly. Other than that, what else we had go on Raw? War Raiders. We have the War Raiders again. I don't know if you got any War Raiders fans, but War Raiders stay undefeated so far in their return.
I was about to say, they're getting a fan club now, man. They haven't lost a match, so
yeah. And they went over the Judgment Day, out of all people. A pretty, solid stable and established right now on Raw.
Right.
Not too much about the match. It's a pretty standard War Raiders match. You get what you get. Eric and Ivar looking healthy, looking good. I'm happy for them. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Other than that, now the meat of the story, pause, for Raw. Bronson fucking Reed.
Oh yeah, jeez.
Now, Dub and E-Ray, I don't know if y'all are watching this because we are live, but I called it. Give me my props. Okay? I'm looking at you.
That's why he's the wise
I'm
man.
looking at you. Thank you. Thank you. But Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, they go one-on-one. And we get more bloodline story fusing into Raw. Are you tired of the bloodline story at all yet, or is it still going?
That's a loaded question. I just want them to get to whoever. Just show me who this fifth man is already. Is it Seth? Is it Brock? Is it the final boss?
It's Seth. It's for sure Seth. We know
it is.
that.
Now after Raw, it's pretty much a lock now, I would say. Unless they swerve us based off of what happened on SmackDown with the OTC getting the you have been disconnected message from the Wiseman. Like he's some sort of like he's some sort of side bitch or something to the Wiseman, and he got put on block.
Got ghosted.
Yeah,
right.
All bad. So that's the only thing that makes me think that where it might not be Seth, because there's a lot of weird sneakiness going on SmackDown with the OG bloodline. Makes me think that the wise man is going to bring somebody back that is a little more of a surprise than Seth Rollins, because they're just kind of just drawing it out to make it look like that. But I don't know. If I was to pick, I would want to see Brock Lesnar personally. And in all honesty, just bring back Brock. Yeah, and all his Brock Lesnar-ness.
Getting name dropped in a suit like that, I don't think that's a good look to bring Brock Lesnar back right now.
Why not?
Look, this might be personal bias, but I don't really enjoy older Brock Lesnar matches.
What?
Like, I'm not saying they're bad. Don't get me wrong. They're not for me right now. Because Brock, how I knew him was like, 2002, 2003 Brock Lesnar. Like, not saying it has to be that all the time, but the Brock Lesnar character, the strength, physique, the quickness, all of that was a key component of how he was presented. So now when you age him by 20 years and he can't jump as fast, he can't punch as fast, he can't throw you as far, it's not as much of a spectacle as it was. The name doesn't carry as much weight anymore in these matches. And I thought maybe it's just TV. And I went to Mania 38 and I saw him live wrestle for the first time in a main event match. I wasn't entertained by his wrestling. It's just not for me at this age. I don't know why.
I think that you saw Brock in an era where he was putting Roman over multiple times. So it's not gonna look that great in that match. I'd have to go back and watch that WrestleMania 38 match. It kind of is a blur to me. But I don't remember it being like this great match in the first place. I think
it wasn't.
Yeah, and I don't think that. I think that you can like two things and it be okay. As far as like the old Brock presentation when he was the next big thing is what you're speaking to, 02, 03 Brock versus now. Just give me the hits, man. Slam some motherfuckers. Just do what you got to do. Like and that's what Brock does. All the hype around him and Paul Heyman talking him up, and he still looks like a beast. And that presentation is still there for me as a fan. It don't really bother me that much. He ain't like Goldberg, like where he about to just go out there and do the spear, jackhammer, go home. Like,
Spear, jackhammer, taunt, 1, 2, 3, go home.
Right.
That's it.
So
It's like a Prime Tyson fight. You in and out. That's it.
You could do more with Brock. That's why I'm like, it's and we haven't seen Brock in a position where he wasn't putting people over in a while because he was putting over Cody on his way out the door. He was doing the stuff with Roman, and then the last time he was really like a killer like that in the ring was when Seth was beefing with him and all that stuff when he was the Beast
Well, like
Slayer.
2017 or 18 or something like that.
Yeah. Of course, when the old man was there running the show, he wasn't gonna make Brock look weak or anything. So to an extreme fashion. So I kind of get what you're saying, but I think some of us not to say you don't love Brock, but just that presentation of what he represents comes back is more okay with us that are wanting to see that. Because if we put Seth Rollins in there, we know like what we're gonna get like with the Seth Rollins in there, because he's been going after Bronson Reed, and that's where I see the sensible take of all of this going. But I don't know. Seth may not want to ever go back and team with Roman. I know everybody's got their beefs and has their history with Roman, according to what Sammy and Jay was saying on SmackDown, but still, Seth be about his word. I don't know, Wiseman.
Seth is about his word about some bullshit. Seth is the one that caused this trauma, okay? I don't even know what his biggest beef with Roman is. Like, I don't even know what his biggest beef with Roman is besides the bloodline, fucking him up for years, but they did that shit to Cody, KO, or Randy. They did it to a bunch of people. True. What is his big beef that he's not going to team with Roman after he was the one that caused this dude emotional trauma in the first place?
I think it's the fact that... Oh, you good?
No, it's got to be self-regret that he doesn't want to get over. And if he's got to push it to the side, so be it. Just to go after Bronson in a cage, but it's gonna be Seth Rollins. There's no doubt about it. At this point, it's gotta be. That's the only way it makes sense.
And that's where it makes too much sense almost. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Cause why did the wise man's line go disconnected, man? Why he get ghosted like that? I don't know. What does that have to do? I mean,
he had multiple phones, one for The Rock, one for Roman Reigns. They did destroy one of the phones. Maybe he just, never collected the insurance money and got another one. It just, I don't know.
So the only one phone he got is the Rock phone.
Yeah, he got the big boss phone. Like, yeah, he got real tribal chief phone number.
That's what I mean. I think, and you heard it here. I think we still do get a final boss appearance at War Games. I think we still get him standing doing his little that shit. I can see him doing that. Right. I don't know. Slap some veins and cut a throat and get out of there, I guess. I can see him start staring at the top of the aisle if OG Bloodline handles their business, which they should. And put this all.
I do think they win. Yeah,
they got.
They should handle their business.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's kind of it for Raw. Did we miss any points? Did anything else of note happen? No.
I think we broke that down. We broke that pack down more than it deserved to be broken down. So
all right, it got broke down and smoked. Moving on to the Blue Brand. We had a little bit go on SmackDown this week. To start out a little light, we got the in-ring debut of B-Fab. And boy, do I tell you, she got one hell of an entrance. I'll tell you that. That shit looked luxurious. Oh yeah, you got to go back and watch it. Like,
all right,
what's the rapper you listen? What's his fucking name? He raps slow as shit. I can't remember his name right now. No, the other one, Larry June.
Oh, Larry June.
Her entrance is as luxurious as a Larry June lyrics.
Okay.
Like, how they sound expensive as shit.
Yeah.
That's how B-Fab's entrance looks. She just looks nice.
That's
the
what's up.
Presentation is nice. The gear looks fire. Love it. Great presentation. She had a good show out for the U.S. Women's Championship tournament. To crown the first one. She took on, it was like Bailey and can't remember who else, but yeah, she looked great in ring. Bailey gets the dub. She's gonna move on, which kind of brings me to my next point here. Are we getting Bailey as the opening champ for the U.S. title, or is she gonna kind of be placed there to put over whoever wins in the finals?
I think that they have so many women that they can put in that spot. We don't need a Bailey as the first U.S. women's champion. That'd be dope, but she's accomplished so much stuff already. Let somebody else have that shine as being the first ever. I mean, in my mind, I personally see Chelsea Green being the first person to win that title. Just personally speaking, just the way the booking is going and stuff. But if they put it on a Bailey, it wouldn't surprise me. I just don't think it's necessary.
I hear you. We got a few notable people in here. Before this bracket was even announced, I said Mi Chin was going to win this. She is in the bracket, so that's who I'm going for.
Okay.
You got people like Elektra Lopez is appearing on this card for some reason.
Dubs girl.
Very random. Out of all the women you had to book, you put Elektra Lopez. And note, I did want to point out, these are all SmackDown women from what I'm being told. So with that logic, I think they're definitely going to introduce a women's IC title pretty soon.
I think they have to.
Yeah, especially just putting nothing but like SmackDown or free agent women type in this deal. Because I don't know, would you call Jade and Bianca Raw? Because they appear on both shows.
They appear on both shows. I would call them, honestly, SmackDown, but...
That's what I thought. I just know they appear because of the titles.
Right.
But yeah, Chelsea Green's on this with Blair Davenport and Bianca Belair.
Blair Davenport. Oh shit.
Yeah, another weird addition to the card. I know. But you saying Chelsea Green? You think Chelsea Green's going to take down Bianca Belair?
I know Bianca Belair was involved in this tournament. She's in
Bianca. Yeah, Bianca Belair takes on Chelsea Green and Blair Davenport inside of the bracket. Jade Cargill takes on Mi Chin and Piper Niven. So my pick has to beat Jade Cargill. Your pick has to beat Bianca Belair.
Ooh, I think my pick has a good chance of beating Bianca Belair just because of shenanigans and things like that. Not straight up. So there's gonna have to be something that she does to get one over on her, because it's not gonna be done if she tries to wrestle her straight up, and that's not gonna happen because Chelsea Green's a heel. So yeah, I can see her doing some shenanigans to try to get over on Bianca Belair. Plus Bianca Belair got to worry about them titles and watching her back from the inevitable Jade double cross that's starting to show some tea leaves to start to pop up in there. So yeah,
I'm honestly hoping they keep Bianca, or they keep Jade face and turn Bianca heel. Let's see it again, bro. I'm ready for it.
I'd be here for
the
that.
Profits. We'll get to the Profits here in a second. That'll be the segue, but they're already brewing a heel turn there. Why not put it on Bianca Belair? Because I say it every time I pop up on the show, and this topic is discussed with them tag titles. I am ready for them to drop it and get back in the singles division. It's tiring seeing that every week. But yeah, so I'm not believing in Bailey. I think Bailey's going to be there to put over whoever is going to win. Hope it's Mi Chin. I'm going to put some money on it, some shots, whatever y'all want to do. But moving on, we were talking about the heel turn with Bianca.
Yep.
Let's go over to the Profits and how kind of they reacted this week. Did you check out the Profits and the Motor City Machine Guns and the DIY whole segment there?
I did not check that out, my friend. I did not check it out. I was traveling this weekend, so SmackDown was watched in Tubi versions, and I did not catch this part on Tubi version.
That's okay. That's okay. So basically, Motor City Machine Guns had a match with the Profits. Profits got a shot at the titles.
Yep.
It ends in a disqualification. Now, don't quote me or test me on how it ended in disqualification. Don't remember right now. All I remember is that DIY was involved in the ending. Basically, the big turnout from this was Ciampa is going back to the Blackheart. Not fully right now.
Oh, he's
not fully. He's showing more than just some shades. I mean, he's to the point of putting his hands on Johnny now. He's abusing Johnny Wrestler. He is taking a book right out of Chad Gable's book, just taking a page right out of Chad Gable's book, and he's putting his hands on his teammates. We're getting to that point now. How many more weeks until we get the DIY implosion and we get Johnny and Gargano? What is this, 2 or 3, something like that?
You get
Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah, I got you. I give it 3 weeks before you start to see it. If he's putting his hands on him now, and he was already getting kind of hype with him when he was like, when Johnny was like, not fanboying, but being real cool with the Motor City Machine Guns and stuff, talking about how he went back with him and stuff. Yeah, Ciampa's fuse is only so long, and he got that black heart in him. And if he's already doing that kind of stuff, 2 to 3 weeks, 3 weeks tops before Johnny's a dead man.
Now looking at this, because I had to look it up just for more info. So now remembering, he ran in and laid out the Profits. Ciampa did. So that's already straight up some heel shit.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting because it's still a tag team. Do you think they could coexist, playing this kind of dynamic of good cop, bad cop type of deal, like heel and babyface in the same tag team?
This is DIY.
Or, yeah, like can't do it.
Nah, they only do
just some angry. No, okay.
Nah,
I tried.
It's not gonna happen. It ain't happening. I don't see it. They only do well in DIY when they are both on that babyface energy. This is what spelled the end of them in NXT. So yeah, this all kind of tracks as far as, and of course it makes sense that this match will end in a disqualification after all that shit the Street Profits was talking about, that they are taking these titles in this match. Of course it ends like this. So yeah, but it just keeps that fire burning in them too, as far as this angry streak that they got now because Montez is so pissed off. Everybody's heated, and I love it. At the end of the day, it's just heat everywhere around the tag team division.
And that's what we love, because the Profits are laying out Motor City Machine Guns, DIY is laying out the Profits, DIY are laying each other out. It's fucking mayhem. Now, somewhere else we have some mayhem and some real heat. Cody Rhodes, he actually opens up SmackDown with this. For better words, he wants to open up a can of whoop ass on KO. He wants to beat the shit out of him. He says he is owed an ass whooping, and he wants to be the one to deliver it. When do we get KO and Cody? And why is it going to be in a 3 Stories of Hell match?
That would be wild if they went that route. Shit. It doesn't look like they're going to get booked on this Summer or Survivor Series. So Saturday night's main event is where I think that's where you get that match at. And it will probably be the main event of that show. To call it what it is. But a 3 Stages of Hell or 3 Stories of Hell match, they bringing that back?
That shit ain't happening.
Hey man, they bringing a lot of shit back. You never know.
You have to have some stipulation to this match. You have to, in my opinion. You can't do you can't do First Blood because they're not doing that right now. Maybe when they move to Netflix, sure.
Yeah.
But on NBC, I know that shit ain't happening.
No sense.
You got to have some type of stipulation to this, though, because they're playing this pile driver off like he fucking shot him and kidnapped his kids, and it's the worst thing possible. Shipped him off in the ambulance, career-threatening injury, yada yada. The pile driver's banned. This is why, because we don't want our wrestlers to be in wheelchairs. All types of that shit. We get it.
Yep.
But where do we see this going, and where do we see this ending with the whole Cody, KO, Randy? Because, I mean, once Cody gets his hands on him, Randy's going to be written off because he got pile drivered and he's gone.
Yep.
I mean, is this going to be the blow-off? Is KO and Cody going to be it, so to speak, for this storyline?
I think that I want to say this is the blow-off. I want it to be so bad, the blow-off, but I just don't think it will be, because KO is one of the most angriest heels ever when he's in this energy, and it's just not gonna go away. And I can't see who else it would migrate over to, as far as who would he want to have beef with next, outside of just wanting to fight Sami Zayn again because he's talking to the Bloodline too now. I can't see it going over to anybody else, and Sammy's technically on Raw anyways, so
that shit don't matter now. It's
maybe
so
we
close,
get your maybe you get your blow off at Royal Rumble, and this is just like the lead. This is the build up into this Saturday night's main event, and the blow off will be the Rumble. As a matter of fact, that makes a lot of sense when I think about it, because after the Rumble, then it's Cody getting ready for WrestleMania. So,
for Mania, yep. That would transition straight into Mania.
Makes sense.
Who's had similar, because this caused the whole KO and Randy thing, we get more Bloodline story on SmackDown, of course.
Oh, Bloodline. As the Bloodline
Bloodline. So, as the Bloodline turns on this episode, you get the OG Bloodline, you get Bloodline 2.0. And OG Bloodline just gets their shit stomped in, just to be point blank.
Oh, yeah.
Jay, I don't remember if it was Jay or Jimmy, but they're telling Roman, make the call. And we all wonder, who are they talking about? You already got the Usos. You already got Sammy. Who are they talking about calling? Closing moments of the show, Roman picks up his phone, asks Siri, and says, call the Wiseman. And what happens? The number you have dialed is disconnected. The Wiseman has ghosted the OTC without explanation, nothing. No clue where he's at.
Yep.
No contact. And then we get a send-off as Roman is struggling with abandonment issues. Where do we go from here with the Wiseman?
To tell it back to earlier, man, I don't think he turns on the OG Bloodline unless it's for the final boss, and that's who he turns for, because the final boss got him doing stuff, retained to be in position to do things. Outside of that, like I said, give me Brock Lesnar coming back. Give me that Brock energy coming back with the fifth man type stuff. Because I don't know what else he could be doing, especially if they're booking him to not have a phone, at least tied to Roman Reigns anymore. So there's a lot that could be said there about what that means. There's so much, and that's what makes this so much more. What keeps it intriguing, as much as I want to be done with the Bloodline and just be like, all right, man, just get me to the next thing. This type of stuff keeps me here because there's so many different directions they can go with it.
Okay. As much, I'm cool still with the Bloodline stuff. They're keeping it fresh. They're keeping it moving. I knew this was going to do War Games. Now, I'm very interested to see where they go after the War Games, but
that's the question.
I'll give it time. Yeah, and that's the real question. What are we doing after War Games? But where do you see it going after War Games? I mean,
let's book it out. Shit. I see the OG bloodline winning, and then after that, you would have the new bloodline, I guess, be kind of trying to figure stuff out and scramble. And maybe you have like dissension within the new bloodline. Maybe Jacob Fatu is now beating the shit out of Tongaloa just because Tongaloa is worthless. It's that type of stuff to the bloodline, to the new bloodline. Or his tag team partner, or Tama Tonga, I couldn't think of his name, going off and thinking that he's a new tribal chief or some silly shit like that. Like, it just can't be OG versus OT, like, versus the new bloodline anymore. That has to be done at Survivor Series. Is the main focal point I'm trying to drive home with these takes. That has to be done.
It has to be done, but the one take that I wanted to see was, what do we do with all these Samoans that they sign? Are these all just going to be singles acts now? I mean, the Gorillas of Destiny going to roll into the tag division? Is Jacob Fatu just going to murder everybody on the roster? Like,
yeah.
Because if anything, I think the only person to come out of the new bloodline, other than Solo's going to be solidified, is Jacob Fatu. The other two, you know, Tama Tonga, maybe. Tongaloa not doing shit singles wise. Let's just be real.
Right.
So it's very interesting, and I don't have enough information right now than what they gave us to even attempt to try to book out into the future. I just don't see anything coming along that's just gonna grasp my attention from Bloodline 2.0 once they actually stop beefing with Roman and them.
Yeah,
that's just me, because when none of the OG Bloodline was on the screen and it was just Bloodline 2.0, Jacob Fatu was the main attraction in my opinion. That's all who I really cared about to see on the screen.
He's the wild man. He's the wild Samoan, so to speak, the werewolf. Of course he is. Like, that's why they started testing him out. They did that thing with Brian Breaker on Raw a couple weeks ago to test out the reaction to that. So he's like the only one that would be a singles, has single star written all over him. I don't know if Tongaloa even stays on the main roster. But they got other Samoans allegedly that they've signed too, like to your point. Like, they like Zilla Fatu is in the mix. They be talking about him getting signed.
He gonna get an ID contract. No, he gonna get an ID contract. WWE ID. He gonna get one of them contracts for sure.
That tracks.
Guarantee you.
That completely tracks. So they got more. They got more on the way up. But more importantly, I guess, what do you think happens with Roman after all of this bloodline?
Roman gets his belt back. Point blank. Period.
He gets his belt back? You sure about that?
Yeah. If it doesn't build immediately to it, that's going to be the next goal. The goal right now the goal right now is to decimate Bloodline 2.0.
Right.
Once that is out of the way, get his belt back. Absolutely. That should be his only priority. You had that shit for over 1,000 days. You gonna want that shit back. Absolutely. That should be number one goal.
I get that. I get that. But at the same token, like, you know, and I know, face versus face doesn't go over well. So how do we get Roman back to being a heel?
We might not have to get Roman back to being a heel.
I don't know. I don't see that. I don't see that world, man.
Look. There's a world somewhere out there where Cody Rhodes is known for making very, very questionable booking decisions. Not saying he books out all his own shit.
Right.
But he does make suggestions, and I don't care what anybody says, he does fucking politic. So I have seen him make very bad politicking decisions when booking matches and decisions and suggestions. That makes no sense. So I would not be surprised if he did book it to drop it to somebody that we just never expected, or that we just outright don't want to be champion. Or in the very alternate case, I know he's like, white meat baby face of the company, interviews, merch sellers, all of that. The only reason I think this probably won't happen is just because of that. They could turn him heel. He's a good heel. He knows how to talk. He's vicious.
I don't think we're ready for Homelander yet.
I don't know. I'm ready for it because I've seen Cody in like New Japan and AEW, how he was heel, like especially with like Bullet Club Cody and all of that. Fucking phenomenal. If you've never seen it, just go watch some of the promos, the segments, all of that from like 2017, 16, all that shit.
Yeah.
Fucking great. That's how I personally would do it because I don't feel like you need to turn Roman back into a heel. Because the whole point of getting him this over was to make him a face. So they could do the thing that they tried to do for 10 years and failed miserably, in my opinion, to get him into that megastar baby face. So yeah, keep him a face. Have Cody turn heel or drop to somebody else. I don't give a shit. I just need Roman to get that belt back for sure. That's got to be number one priority.
That ain't happening, brother, because the final boss says he needs that belt to carry around with his People's Championship once Moana 2 doesn't do the numbers he thinks it's going to do after this Red 1 debacle. So, yeah, final boss versus... Maybe you get final boss versus Roman Reigns. Maybe that's
we get Cody versus final boss Vein Slapper, drops the belt to The Rock. And then that's how we get Roman versus Rock, and Roman gets his belt back while taking down The Rock.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at it. If that's how you're gonna do it, okay. Because we get at least a final boss run for a day before he has to drop the title the next night.
We'll get a few months max of a final boss run with the WWE title, because let's be real, that thing isn't defended a lot either way. So if we didn't have a match for 2 months, no one's gonna say anything. That would be the way I would put that title back on Roman, because you want Rock versus Roman before anybody gets too old or health stuff, injuries, whatever. You got to make that happen. That's going to be box office printing money at that point. So yeah, that's how I would get that title on him. And I'm telling you, that's going to be priority number one after War Games. Fuck Bloodline 2.0, but yeah,
it's time
for the OG Bloodline, get that title back on Roman.
I can see it. I can definitely see it, man.
Replay the hits and then get the title belts back on the Usos.
That'll be something else, because they know they're gonna have to have a match against the Motor City Machine Guns. This gotta happen.
Oh yeah. Usos versus Gorillas of Destiny, Usos versus Motor City Machine Guns in another year when injury time is done on Rey Fénix's contract. Fucking Lucha Bros versus the Usos. Yeah, that's all gonna happen. Don't worry about that. We getting all that shit.
Yeah, I can see that. But one thing I did not see coming on SmackDown was the return of a third generation jobber, as you had coined him, Humberto Carlito. Carrillo, excuse me. Wow. Did not see that coming. On SmackDown, him coming back to take an L to LA Knight. So is this just because LA Knight doesn't have anything to do right now? Is this why they did this?
No, it's Legado del Fantasma.
But they just sent him out
with
there
Santos again. I mean, you gotta do. It's like it's the Jericho effect. You gotta go through everybody else to get to the leader.
They just send them out there to take the L. Then okay, I get it.
Oh yeah, do some flips. Get your ass whooped, get your skull crushed in, and hear 1, 2, 3, and then niggas yell "yeah" all the time over your lifeless body. That's all he got sent out there for.
Yeah,
nothing else. Because we're gonna get Santos versus LA Knight. I'm pretty sure they've already ran this before. None of my business though.
They have. They absolutely have.
That's what I thought. Shout out to Santos, how he keeps getting these opportunities, almost like the Dragon Lee effect.
Almost. Sure. I was gonna say, do you think he's a more formidable foe than Melo and Andrade was? But
fuck no.
Exactly.
No.
That's what I was
Carmelo
thinking too.
Carmelo Hayes has to be the next U.S. champion in the men's division. I don't see anybody else. We need a proper Game 7 with just Andrade and Melo.
Yeah.
Melo goes on to do a whole program with LA Knight. That's what I need to happen because he has to be the next champion. That man is the future. Okay.
Yeah, I give you that. Maybe at Mania they finally get him have that belt. Maybe Mania is when LA Knight drops it.
I take it because right now that's the only believable guy that I would even attempt to drop a belt to in LA Knight's case.
Yeah,
that's only one. If you want to go Andrade, so Melo can take it off Andrade, whatever, however you want to do it, cool. But Melo eventually has to be the champion, in my opinion.
So he can bring back the spinner belt. I get it.
Exactly. You see the vision. So yeah, LA Knight took down a third generation jobber just to build towards the, Santos Escobar match.
Yep.
Are we excited about it since we've seen this before? Do you care about Santos Escobar on your screen at all?
I mean, I love Santos Escobar. I'm a fan for sure, but it's just the way he's been booked. It makes me not care as much because I'm not gonna buy him beating LA Knight at the end of the day. So
absolutely not.
I think if the presentation was different for him, yeah, run it. But it's just more fodder for LA Knight's title run. So that's how I see it.
Good fodder for the title run. Some other runs we had. We are running straight into everybody's favorite show of the week. Again, I don't have the soundboard. I would cue the music right now if I did, but we are moving on to NXT. Ladies and gentlemen, NXT. Yeah. We had a bunch of heat on NXT this week. Starting out with, I think, everybody's kind of favorite, the Iron Survivor Challenge.
Yes.
We had more qualifiers this week. For the men's, Nathan Frazier qualified. He beat DJ Nightwolf.
Yep.
And Miss Parker went down to Stephanie Vaquer.
That match.
In what we have dubbed match of the year for all the wrong reasons, but all the right reasons, depending on your morals. If there was one match that, E-Ray suggested I watch this week on NXT, it was that match.
I get it.
Just go and scroll randomly into any portion of that match, and I guarantee you'll see why we say that.
Yep.
But other than all that stuff we're talking about, the wrestling was good in there. Stephanie Vaquer went over in a good ass match. I personally wouldn't have put them together. I wanted to see both of them go into the Iron Survivor Challenge, but I guess we can't have the best of both worlds.
Nope.
Would you have taken Miss Parker or Stephanie in this one?
I think I gotta take Stephanie Vaquer, man. She's one of the best luchadores on the planet that she's been marketed to me as. So that's what I gotta go with at the end of the day. Jada Parker still a little green in the ring, but she brings it all together with the character she's creating and all that stuff. And then plus you got the Lola Vice distraction. So it didn't make her look weak at all. It just made her look distracted. That's all that
she
happened.
got protected.
Yeah,
she got protected for sure.
Yeah, and that shows you how high that the back is on her. Didn't mean that in any other way, but the back of the the back of the office, so to speak. Not anything else. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
What?
What? Moving on from the back of things. Well, actually, you know what? Let's keep it on topic. Adonis Lee fucking speaking this week
Man, my guy.
Please,
my guy.
BA, you are the expert on Ashanti the Adonis. Please break down what happened in our Adonisly speaking moments of the week.
Yes, so
what did he get into this week?
Adonisly speaking, of course, Shanti have found himself in a tag team match, in a mixed tag team match with Carmen Petrovic as his tag team, as his tag teammate versus Dion Lennox and Brinley Reese. It was like a way for them to kind of tie in the fact that they play college football on CW now. So they had them repping random schools basically that play each other. So that was cute and all. But the reason why I thought this segment was so great, or this whole the Shanti the Adonis factor on it was so great, was because at the end of the match, because there was a lot of flirtation of like, will they, won't they kiss and all this other stuff with Shanti the Adonis and Carmen Petrovic. And she lost that damn sword. Thank God. She's about to kill somebody.
Hey, hold on, pause. Wait. The sword entrance was fire, okay? I love that shit. The little effect on the screen and all that, and then it drops and it's like her posing and shit. That was a unique entrance, okay?
Shanti the Adonis,
added
like,
some
that's
flavor.
He said that's too dangerous for me. I don't need no white woman with a knife around me like that, acting all crazy. That's what he said. Not his words, not mine. But he had went about at the end of the match. So him and Carmen Petrovic, like I said, they're like, will they, won't they kiss moment. And then none other than Nikita Lyons comes around the corner saying, oh, you had texted me, but you ain't text. I texted you, but you ain't text back or something like that, or you left me unread or something like that. Blew up the spot basically. And I was just like, oh, what is happening here? Nikita Lyons and then Carmen Petrovic wasn't feeling that. Ashanti the Adonis is just left there looking like an idiot and sitting there saying like, I didn't even text her. So yeah, what a moment as far as what Ashanti the Adonis keeps on bringing to the table. One of probably the most, dare I say, underrated member of Hit Row as far as when they were rolling around as Hit Row outside. I mean, you got Swerve in there, of course. So and Swerve's doing.
But he wasn't underrated.
No.
He was one of the main ones of the group. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
The work that Adonis is putting in as being brought back to just be his character. It's great. I find entertainment in it weekly, and this week was no different. It's very entertaining.
So we're safe to say he was better off on an NXT spot versus just getting washed into the main roster and nothingness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He needs he at least gets to showcase what he does here. He would never be on TV if this was on the main roster.
Well,
call it what it is.
TV time is hard to get, and some ones, and I'd say, well, multiple that are no longer going to be getting some NXT TV time. Chase U is no more, unfortunately. The school that we all know and love, all the students, the student sections, the prep rallies, the awards, it's all done. Andre Chase and the rogue rugby player that's for some strange reason getting a push right now had a match. Rich Holland versus Andre Chase, and Rich Holland won, which means in that Chase U is no more. Is this kind of a rewrite, repackage for Chase U? Or are they just going to take everything that's there and move it to the main roster? What are we feeling here?
I think this is RIP to Chase U, man. I think this is the whole shebang is over. For these pieces and parts to move up to the main roster as such. Or some will stay in NXT, who knows? But Chase U gimmick is dead now. Is what I collect from this. And how crazy is it that one man took out an entire university? Like, that's insane. How crazy is that? And to your point, of the former rugby player.
And that's what I was gonna say. For this to be this long built, because this story has been going for months and like quite a long time. For it to all, just go all into this one moment and he just chase you outright. And then now he's getting pushed for a world title. So he snakes all of his friends, decimates an entire university, and then gets a title shot.
Crazy.
That don't seem right in my opinion.
No.
That don't seem right. And we're talking about Ridge Holland here. The worst of the brawling brutes. He was the worst one. And now he's getting main event title shots for NXT against Trick Williams of all people. Are we getting behind the rogue rugby player? Or do we believe, shout out to Joe Hendry, do we believe?
I don't believe. I'm not. It's hard for me to believe it and buy it, in all honesty. I get why he's being put in that spot, because he's been a good sport about stuff, and I'm assuming, as far as how they look at him, that he's like a heel that they can take more serious. Because I don't see Ridge Holland doing much on the main roster, in all honesty. Like, he's doing the most he's ever gonna do in NXT, from what I can tell. So I guess this is like this culmination moment. Like, it'll never get better than this for him. I feel like
NXT title is his peak. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, man. And not even capturing it, just being in the title matches is peak. Because I don't see him ever holding the title. Man, that'd be crazy if he actually beats Trick Williams, but I just don't see it. I'm shocked that they put him in this spot to headline with Trick Williams, in all honesty. But can't be Ethan Page every month that they do a PLE. So hey,
and that's the unfortunate spot about it, because I personally don't see why the fuck he's even in the main title picture. I like Ridge as a wrestler, but the story, in my opinion, going from Chase U to the main title, like, damn, was Chase U that big of a ramp up that you just go straight to the title picture? Like, oh shit.
It never's been that for anybody else, so that's why I'm just like, okay, sure. Now we're supposed to buy that part too.
They've always been lower or, straight mid-card as far as where Chase U's been placed. Now taking them all out and destroying their legacies and careers, I guess, get you title shots. Me personally, I'm not getting behind this. I'm not getting behind Ridge winning. I'll say that. Using him as a heel that you can take serious, that's, big, strong, powerful, kills people, whole backstory was he was too rough for rugby, which, if you've never seen rugby highlights, go check some out, because that's a rough ass sport.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's some shit.
I've seen people's ears get ripped off playing rugby, so yeah, serious.
Exactly. You got tree trunks for thighs and shit, just straight muscles. Yeah, fuck all that. But yeah, for a rogue rugby player to now be getting main title shot, hey, y'all do you. Shawn Michaels, I don't know what you cooking right now. Maybe he's having an off day. The recipe just ain't hitting the same. Whatever it might be, he's got the wrong chef's hat on today, aprons backwards, just not cooking the same. Whatever it might be.
I'm gonna trust Chef HBK. You gotta trust Chef HBK.
I'm gonna see how it goes. Maybe for some, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and trust him, because for some rhyme or reason, he was able to take Ridge Holland from the Brawling Brutes, bring him to NXT, and actually make him entertaining, and then put him in storylines that were kind of entertaining. So he might be able to convince me that he's main event contender. Who knows? I'll give it some time. Like E-Ray says, shout out to E-Ray. I'll give it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'll give it 2 weeks. And then I'll give another assessment on
it. I will give it this match and see what goes from there with good old Ridge. But yeah, I'm not buying. It's hard to buy, man. I can't even cap.
Yeah. And more stuff that we're not buying. At least I know I'm not. So Tony D had a match this week.
Tony
any
Baloney.
comments on that one? Tony Baloney, Joey Stromboli, yes. Mr. Cannoli himself defended his title.
He had a new entrance, unless I missed it last week. Is the way his entrance is now, the all red.
What is it?
Like, it's just everything's all red when he comes out. The lighting and everything's just red. Like Kane almost.
Like, I was just about to say he's giving the Kane vibes or something like that. What was he going for?
The Kane vibes on the lights with the Italian music playing and all that stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting. It's not what you would expect for a Tony D'Angelo presentation. I'll say that.
Yeah, he was going. My bad. He was going against our boy, formerly of the LLC, Brooks Jensen.
Good old LLC.
Good old LLC construction. But yeah, Jensen was taking on D'Angelo for the North American title, a belt I personally think he shouldn't have in the first place. But hey, it is what it is. So we got the Italian family hooking up with Sean Spears. So what's going on with that one there? Why is Sean Spears fraternizing with the Italians?
I think because is Brooks Jensen like his client or something? Like, that's the part I don't really get, is like, is he like his manager? Is he like taking
like a
clients
coach
now? Yeah, that's what I don't understand about the Sean Spears aspect of things here.
I don't know. He looked like he was like a corner man, or he was like, mentoring them throughout everything. I don't see the angle, but we are avid Sean Spears haters from what I've imagined. And I don't see the appeal. And I'm going to go ahead and point it out because E-Ray isn't here. This dude cannot dress. For someone who makes WWE contract money, you would think he can get a stylist consultant or something like that. Dude was wearing it was like a sleeveless trench coat or something like that. Like, what even was that?
He was wearing like a sleeveless like suit jacket or something. Like he's in like when he was the chairman in AEW type shit.
Yeah, no one who listens to this podcast is gonna watch the chairman in AEW. I'm sorry to say. Look, I love AEW, and I wasn't peeping Sean Spears in AEW. He was a lackey to MJF when I was peeping him. Like, not shit.
Yep.
I'm good on it. But they pulled a little angle after the match and things like that with some injury. I'm not really feeling yet this whole Tony D North American title run. Am I too early on the assessment, or are we in agreement? It's not there.
I'm gonna say let's let it breathe a little bit. He hasn't had anybody. He hasn't had a formidable foe yet. Let's think about it since he's won it. They had the NXT 2300 night, so it was just gimmicks with our boys, the FBI, and then this match here, pretty much, since he beat Obafemi, because I don't think he's defended it against anybody else. So I'm gonna give it some time. I'm not a big Tony D'Angelo fan in the first place. That presentation is just trash to me. Like I said, once he starts calling people the N-word and stuff like that is when that'll get over in my mind. Because that whole act is based in racism, in my opinion, but to each their own. But as far as formidable foes go, let's see him go against somebody that they can actually draw some heat with, and then we'll see. But right now, I can't base his title run off of a Brooks Jensen match and a Little Guido match. I can't. I can't do it.
That sounds terrible.
That's what I'm saying.
Niggas defended against Brooks Jensen and Little Guido.
And Little Guido was the better match, in all honesty. So,
hey, Little Guido qualifies for AARP. He doesn't count, okay? He gets retirement benefits.
Yes, he should be on a Legends contract.
Exactly. Dude on that Bubba Ray Dudley contract.
Fact.
Moving on, we got a couple more, notable things. Circling back to the Iron Survivor, Zarya. Formerly,
she had a match
she
too.
was Delta. Yeah, formerly Delta, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
She had a match. She has qualified for the Women's Iron Survivor. She took on Ren Sinclair with Charlie Dempsey in the corner. Is it any surprise that Delta or Zarya went over?
Not at all.
I mean,
no surprise.
Yeah. Do we really think Ren Sinclair was going to go on to the Iron Survivor?
Nah, I hate to say it. Not happening.
Okay. All right.
Not happening.
Any other notes on that one? I'm not trying to be rude, but I mean, I don't really find anything in this match that was talk worthy other than she qualified for the match.
Yeah, that was it. She just killed Ren Sinclair. I thought Zarya and Charlie Dempsey were about to get down for a second as far as throw some fisticuffs with each other, but
that would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been crazy, but it was just a distraction for Ren Sinclair. So yeah, it wasn't much of a match, to your point of not a lot to say there, because there wasn't a lot going on.
All right. And then earlier in the night, Fatal Infection had a segment.
They sure did.
And and the champ issues a open challenge for her newly won Women's North American Championship. So Fallon Henley goes out with the 2 on her side, starts talking shit, basically putting herself over BA style, and issues an open challenge saying, hey, she could either chill and not worry about anybody, or she could be a fighting champion. So what does she choose? She chooses to be a fighting champion. Not seen by, heels that much, so props to her. But chaos ensues as, people start swarming, niggas getting their ass beat, getting drugged, backstage, all that good shit. Ring clears, and we just have Fallon Henley just standing there. Yep. And then the creepy goth girl, Tatum Paxley, slides in and just fucks her up. I don't even know what move that's called, like takes her leg and spins her and shit like that.
Yeah.
Shit looks crazy.
It does look like a crazy move.
Yeah, it's real crazy. It looks like you can break your neck mad easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, hits her with one of them things, gets up, grabs her title, puts it over. I'm assuming this means Tatum Paxley answered that open challenge for next week. Do we believe Tatum Paxley is going to take this title off of Fallon Henley this soon?
I'm going to have to shake my head no on this one. I thought she was just there to steal the title and then act like she was the champion, but like she was doing with the TNA Knockouts title for a little while. Just stealing belts. It was just obsessed with belts. That's what I thought that was happening here, but to your point, maybe that just solidified her as to be winning the open challenge for next week's match. But yeah, it was pure chaos when that happened. Cause I was just like, we doing the Wes Lee stuff again? Like, come on. But she needs that to justify who she's gonna go against next. So I get it, because it's just gonna keep on being Kalani, and Kalani can't survive the 3 of these ladies. So yeah, that's the next thing, I guess, is just Tatum Paxley. But it's hard for me to buy that, though. I can't lie. Very hard for me to buy it.
Well, I'm not buying it either. I would like it to happen. I would enjoy Tatum Paxley as a champion, just a tad bit more than Fallon Henley, but it hasn't been that long of a title reign, so I'll give it some time. Moving on from that one, more talking about next week and what they've kind of already booked out. Going back into the Tony D stuff, I know you mentioned you can't really judge his title reign against Little Guido and, a Brooks Jensen match. Next week, he's going to be taking on Shawn Spears. So the laugh is everything. I love it. That is his third opponent, and he's putting the belt on the line, so it will be a title defense. It's going to be Tony D versus Sean Spears. How many vein slaps in the Tokyo Dome does this get for midness? As far as how much you don't care about this match.
This gets no vein slaps in the arena for midness. This gets 0. If you could hear it, it's like when a tree falls in the forest. Is it really falling? Did it really happen if nobody heard it? So yeah, that's the type of vein slapping that's happened here. None, non-existent. Wow, that's hilarious that they got that match booked for next week. But maybe it'll make Tony's run. Maybe we'll get somewhere with Tony's run now that he's gonna beat up Sean Spears now. Probably with some Brooks Jensen interference. So there's that.
Are you saying this is Sean Spears is gonna elevate Tony D's title reign? Am I hearing this correctly?
That's me trying to be as nice as I possibly can about Sean Spears. That's what that is.
Damn.
I'm trying, guys. Usually this is easy pickings for BA to just want to be like, yeah, this is gonna be shit. But I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying to be more positive on that for this Tony D run. Can y'all tell I'm trying?
I personally can't, because I hate it just as much as you. Like I said before, I personally don't feel like he should have this belt to begin with, but hey, Chef Michaels, he's gonna cook up whatever he wants to cook up. What else? Did they book out anything else for next week? Yeah, we got more Iron Survivor action next week. Ethan Page is going to be in a qualifying match. He's gonna go against, I think, Axiom.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Axiom. So it should be Axiom and Ethan Page next week.
Okay.
So that should be a good one to see. Other than that, I think that was pretty much all of NXT this week.
All right.
Yeah. So that was our favorite show, and unfortunately, guys, that's gonna mean we are at the conclusion of our episode today.
In and out.
In and out. We was good. We hit it. We quit it. We called it an Uber, and we going our separate ways for tonight. We gonna hit it up next week, and we gonna call you back over. You know, we gonna get that text. Make sure you there, okay? Other than that, I don't have the soundboard. I can't play you out with the final boss, unfortunately. But BA, is there anything you want to tell the good folks?
Is there anything I want to tell the good folks? Keep listening. Keep giving us those comments in the streams. Keep on keeping on, basically. We ain't going nowhere. We here. Next week we'll have the conglomerate and possibly a live stream on a Tuesday night, if you know what I'm saying. So stay tuned for more of that. But as y'all already know, stay tuned on the YouTube channel. Go buy some merch. So much merch with the Christmas season coming up. Nothing will make your family more uncomfortable than an Only Slam shirt and around the Christmas tree and all that fun stuff, or at the Thanksgiving table to have to explain that to your family. We'd love to see the looks on their faces. So go grab one of those. Grab some coasters, some mugs. Just go buy something for your family, man. Lots of random stuff if you're a fan of this show. But yeah, that's all I got though, man. And in the words of the final boss, I'll just sing it. What can I say except you're welcome? This has been another episode of Let Me Book the Territory. We out of here.
Peace.